Am I still here? Can you guys see me? Anyone there? No, actually, Mr. Tomato Head, I don't get anything from ads on Twitch. But if you have Amazon Prime, you can get rid of the ads by linking your Amazon Prime with Twitch. Yeah, that's true, Link. All right, here we go. Here we go. This episode of Switchcraft is brought to you by patrons like Abigail13. Support Switchcraft and my other content for as little as $1 and get exclusive rewards at patreon.com/runjumpstomp. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Today's Thursday, so that means it's Audible. I gotta think of an Audible book. I gotta find an Audible book to recommend. Oh, let's see. Audible. There we go. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Yes, the bookshelf. Here's a bookshelf. This is my bookshelf. All right. Episode 106 of Switchcraft is brought to you. Nope. It's also brought to you. Episode 106 of Switchcraft is sponsored by Audible. Get your free audiobook that you get to keep whether you stay a member or not by heading on over to runjumpstomp.com/audible. It directly helps the show. You get to choose from thousands of books. I recommend that you check out Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. It is a fantastic book. I actually read that book while I was helping my dad. Oh God, what were we doing? We were putting insulation in his house. So he was on the other side of the house and I can't hear anything anyway. So I listened to my book while I was putting insulation in, and it made it go by so much faster. Plus, it's a fantastic book. If you decide not to stay a member, you get to keep your book. And if you decide to remain a member of Audible, it's $14.95 and you get a free book every month. Well, it's not really free. It's a $14.95 book. But some of the books that you get for that $14.95 can be like 36 hours of content. So I highly recommend Audible, and special thank you to Audible for sponsoring today's episode. I feel like that went on too long. You don't like audiobooks, Baxter? I feel like that went too long. I might re-record that later. We'll see how long the episode is. Switchcraft is recorded live 3 times a week at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and also on Saturdays whenever the universe allows. Tune in at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp just like these fantastic people did. We've got Vaxer, Mr. Tomato Head, Kodiak Moonwolf, Link31254, Aerslia is here. Scrolling. The Bouse is here. Colonel Katifa, as well as his son, is here. Hello. Was it Kalen? And who else do we have? Radish is here. Zap D-Seed is here. Plus, Paralegal Princess is back from vacation. Scrolling. We've got Link the King 12 is here. Atomic Gecko is here. I really appreciate you guys. I can't scroll back any further using the program. Everyone who's here, I appreciate it. Lurkers who are here and not chatting, I appreciate you guys as well. Thank you very much. Again, that's twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. Let's jump in with a review of the show. You can review the show by heading on over to Apple Podcasts and giving a review there. Joel Kuhn gave the show 5 stars. They said, love the episode frequency. This podcast is great, and it's frequent enough that you're not hearing about news a week after it happens. I look forward to listening to it on the way home from work. I do wish it were longer, as I've gotten used to listening to my podcasts at 2 1/4 speed, so it goes by quick. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you very much for listening and for reviewing the show. It surprises me that you want the show to be longer, seeing as how it's already. I mean, if I took all of the shows and put them together, that'd be an hour and a half a week, which is pretty comparable to other podcasts. A lot of people say that they like the shows shorter because they find the longer podcasts intimidating, which is one of the reasons I decided to do 3 episodes a week instead of 1 episode a week. It kind of locks me down to a lot more work on my part because that means I have multiple shows to edit. But I feel like the smaller shows at a higher rate of frequency is better. That being said, I really appreciate the support that you give just by listening and reviewing. It really does help out. I've got an email this week. It says, "Hey, Bill. Hi. My name is Scott. I've been listening to your podcast for a few months now. It's really good. I wasn't subscribed at first, but when I realized I kept checking back to see when new episodes were released, I subscribed. I know a good rule of thumb with podcasting is that you probably have twice as many listeners as subscribers, so I hope that's encouraging. You know, that never occurred to me because I've never listened to a podcast without subscribing to it. Like, I always subscribe to it to listen to it. That way I always have it. And then if it turns out that it's something that I don't like, I unsubscribe. So I've never just downloaded one podcast without hitting that subscribe button. That's weird to me. But anyway, they said, thank you for covering the news, offering your honest opinion on games, as well as getting into meaningful topics like accessibility. I listen to a lot of shows in the gaming industry, so I always appreciate when someone takes the time to form a nuanced opinion on something and deliver it well. Keep it up. I know it's a lot of work. It is. And I appreciate it. Well, thank you very much, Scott. If you want to email me, you can do just like Scott did and send an email to runjumpstomp@gmail.com. You can tweet at me at runjumpstomp. You can call and leave a voicemail at 260-RUN-JUMP. That's 260-786-5867. And you can join our Discord and have a conversation not only with me, but with all of the awesome people that hang out there at runjumpstomp.com/Discord. All right, let's hit the news. Feedback. So what I'm doing is I am... I'll talk about that in a second. Let me check one thing real quick. Just a sec. Just a second. Let's... Yes, I know. It's longer than a second. I just want to find something. All right, here we go. Before I jump in on the news, and this is actually directly related to what Scott, Scott said, on keeping the show short. What I'm going to start doing is during the live show, I'm going to talk about some topics that I may not include in the audio portion, just to keep the show short. So, and it won't be big topics; it'll just be smaller things. But I just want to let you guys know that, again, if you want to listen to the full show, you can either go to the YouTube channel or you can go to the Twitch channel, and it'll be available for you there. I always post it to the Patreon Uncut, like right as soon as I get a chance to. But if you want the full Uncut show, if you want longer stuff, then make sure you check that out. Let's jump into the first story. And that is that Square is aggressively, this is according to, oh gosh, who was it? Well, it was originally linked in the Discord from Tom Tate, who also has a fantastic Nintendo podcast called Power Time Podcast. It's a really good one. But this, I went and found the original source, and that's Takahashi Mochizuki. He's a tech reporter for the Wall Street Journal from Tokyo, and he posted on Twitter. You should definitely follow him. He's Mochi_WSJ. He said, Square Enix switches one ideal platform to put middle-range games on, which got tough to achieve business success. Square Enix good at making these games, so would work on these aggressively. So what they're basically saying here is that Square Enix is going to be making a lot more games for the Switch. I think they're very happy with the results that they have so far. And a lot of people are very excited for both Lost Sphere, which I think is a Square Enix game, as well as, I think it's from the company, the same people that made Bravely Default. It's that one where you can play a dancer, Project Octopath Traveler. Get a new name for that. But they are bringing those games to the Switch, and what they're saying is they're not going to be bringing the next Final Fantasy to the Switch, but they're going to make games that are made specifically for the Switch. Not that they'll be exclusives, but games that play to the Switch's strengths. And I think that that's exactly the way developers should look at the Switch. A lot of people say, oh, how come we don't have this game that's on the Xbox One on our Switch, or this game that's on the PS4, this PC game? Why don't we have these games on the Switch? And the main reason is because it's a lot of work to port those games into a less powerful system. That's the trade-off that you get when you get a portable system. Now, that being said, we've seen some pretty great stuff coming from Bethesda this month, and I think that we have reason to be excited for developers doing what Square is doing, where they're not just trying to throw a port of an old game. They're trying to make games that are tailor-made for the Switch, that use the portability, the detachable Joy-Cons, the share the joy kind of thing. More developers should do that rather than port their games to the platform just to make sure that it's on one more platform. And with the Switch being successful, what a lot of developers fail to realize is that AAA games are not the only thing out there. When you make a game that works on the Switch, it's going to work on the other platforms as well. So it's not like you're ignoring the PS4 customers or the Xbox One customers. What you're doing is you are making a game that will work on all three. And I think that the technology that we have now is at a point where you can make a game that will run well on the Switch. That means a solid frame rate at a decent resolution. You can make a game that'll run well on the Switch that'll also run really well on these other systems, and it'll succeed. That game will succeed. Not every single game that you make has to have the most realistic things in, textures in the world. Not every world that you design has to be believable as it came out of a movie or something like that. There's nothing wrong with these beautiful games that are coming to the PS4 and the Xbox One. I, for one, am looking forward to them. But if you design for the Switch first and the other systems later, I think that you'll get a lot. You'll get a lot of sales, because it seems to me like Square is very, very happy with the sales that they have so far. And they're very happy with the install base and the pace at which the Switch is selling. Keeping that balanced with making a game that will work on it and work well is only going to be good for those developers. Anyway, I think that the Switch is in a really great place, and EA should pay attention to what Square is doing, because EA is like, well, we're going to wait and see, because we want to make sure that our games always look the absolute best, so that we're always pushing the power. But at this point, people don't go out and buy the next Madden game because it's got better graphics. They get the next Madden game because they want to play Madden with their friends, and they want the updated rosters and stuff like that. Same thing with pretty much any sports title. When you limit yourself to only the most powerful hardware, while your game will look very nice, it's not going to have, it may or may not have a lot of depth. I think that too many AAA developers spend more time worrying about how the game looks rather than how the game plays. And when you look at what Nintendo has been doing on the Switch, it's clear that Nintendo put how the game plays first and how the game looks second. And I have to say that this year I have played way more console games than I have in a very, very long time. And my PS4 has hardly been touched by me because the Switch has had so many fantastic experiences. I just think that Square's on the right path here, and I think EA and others should follow by making middle-range games for the Switch and then porting them to the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. A little rambly there, huh? Project Octodad. That's funny. All right, so we'll name that. What am I naming that? Square. Actually, it's downstairs because my son's playing it a lot. See, it has, and he's using it to play an EA game that would easily run on the Switch and would be perfect for the Switch. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. Like, why isn't EA putting that on the Switch? That would be a much better test than FIFA, in my opinion. Not that FIFA was ever a test. FIFA was not a test for how well games were going to sell on the Switch. FIFA was put out on the Switch because they are EA is contractually obligated to put out FIFA on every platform. So they did the bare minimum and put it out. And then now it's hands off. They don't care anymore. Whereas that's why we got FIFA instead of, something else as a quote unquote test. If EA were smart, they would bring Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 to the Switch. It would be really fantastic with gyroscopic controls for aiming. That's a great game. My son loves that game. Switch fanboy? No, I love my PS4 Red v Blue. I just haven't been using it because the Switch has had so many better experiences for me. All right. There was another story that I was going to talk about, and I got distracted, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, yeah. All right, so I'm not recording this one. Doom has a 79, which I know a lot of people think is bad, but Doom has a 79 on Metacritic for the Switch, and I think that that's good. You got to remember that, yes, we've got Breath of the Wild with a 90 whatever, and we've got Mario with a 90 whatever, and I hear Assassin's Creed Origins is really, really good, but Doom is a fantastic game, and it's getting a score like the average is right around 80, and I think that that's great. I'm looking forward to playing it. Well, okay. I would be looking forward to playing it if I hadn't already bought it and beat the game. And one of the reasons that I'm not buying it, and I tweeted about this earlier, but one of the reasons I'm not buying Doom is because Doom does not have gyroscopic controls, which is baffling to me. Absolutely baffling. First-person shooters are really fantastic with gyroscopic controls, and I played Doom on my PC using my Steam controller, which has gyroscopic controls. Now, the good thing about the Steam controller is I can configure it any way I want, and it doesn't matter if the game really supports gyroscopic controls. I can force it to use gyroscopic controls. And I played Doom on my PC with gyroscopic controls, and it was fantastic. It was really great. And the fact that the Switch version doesn't have gyroscopic controls is baffling to me, especially because we've got another game from the same company, from Bethesda. Well, I mean, they're like sister companies. id Software is owned by Bethesda. But from that same company, Skyrim, coming out the same week, for crying out loud. And that game has gyroscopic controls for aiming when you want to shoot your bow. Like, why is it that Doom doesn't have gyroscopic controls? It is just crazy. I think it's a huge misstep, a huge mistake, and I really think that Bethesda is, I don't know, they're crippling themselves by not including it. And I know the other platforms don't have gyroscopic controls, but how hard could that be to implement, especially if you've already figured out a way to use the API to implement it in your other game? Anyway, let's get to the next story that's going to be on the actual podcast. That one was just for you live people. Mario Kart Double Dash on IGN says hi. Chai Tea Lady, The Sims 4 would be great for the Switch. See, I don't like the Sims games. They're not for me, but I know that there's a lot of people who love the Sims games, and being able to take it with you would be huge for those people. Mr. Tomato Head, I guess. Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. So Mario Kart Double Dash got a 7.9 and fans freaked out. Well, that's because fans are idiots. They really are. They put too much stock in the number that a game gets. They don't care what the review says. They just look at that number because they want to say, well, this says a 7.8 and this has a 7.9, so it's clearly a better game, which is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. All right, let's talk about the next thing real quick. Well, this is something that I did not expect to be talking about today, but Hulu was released for my phone ringing. There you go. I'm so happy that that's happening. I'm not saying don't look at the numbers red v blue. I'm saying that the numbers are not the review. If that makes sense. You think Sims 4 would sell more than FIFA? Maybe. All right. Well, this is something I did not expect to be talking about today. I woke up and one of the first stories that I noticed was that Hulu was on the Switch now. So I downloaded it to check it out. I installed it. I was sitting at my PC, so my Switch was docked over against the wall there in my PC, or hooked up to my PC, which is how I usually stream and record footage and stuff. And sure enough, HDCP got in the way. So it's high definition copy protection got in the way. It's like, hey, you can't do this. So I was like, oh yeah. So I grabbed it, took it out into my bedroom, put it in the other dock, and sure enough, it worked. It worked great. It worked fast. The UI it looks exactly like it does on my Apple TV. It looks exactly like it does on my Roku. It is the same user interface. Just you have a controller instead of a remote. So I think that that's cool. I'm probably never going to use it. However, if I didn't have a Roku, if I didn't have an Apple TV or an Amazon Fire Stick or whatever other device that you may or may not be using to watch your internet content on your TV, if I didn't have one of those things and I had a Switch, maybe I would use it like this. It's hooked up to the TV already. You don't have to worry about if your controller's pointing in the right direction. It doesn't have some of the cool features like searching with voice like my Apple TV does. So I can just hold down the button and say Westworld and have it come up, and then I can watch it. But I think that it's cool. I probably, again, won't use it. But the reason I'm talking about it now is because I expect that we'll start to see a flood of these apps on the Switch. We'll see a YouTube app, a Netflix app. We'll see, I don't know, probably CBS apps and things like that. All of those things that you can see, like HBO Go, we're going to see a flood of all of these things on the Switch. And this is, of course, going to happen because the Switch is getting a big install base. It's selling really, really well. Nintendo has said that they've already sold over 7 million. And that they expect to sell 14 million in the first fiscal year, which is a fantastic start. I mean, that's more than the Wii U sold in its entire lifetime. So, of course, these other developers or these other platform holders for video, they're going to be putting their apps where the eyeballs are. And the one good thing about the Switch is, it's docked, you're watching a show or whatever, and, maybe your wife says, hey, it's time to go. You can just grab it out of the dock, and I tried it, like it was playing, and I just grabbed it out of the dock and started walking, and it worked just fine. Now, of course, you're going to have to connect to Wi-Fi wherever it is that you go. So it's a little different. In fact, like you can't just watch it on your phone. Personally, I think that if you're watching something, and I think a lot of these services do this, like Netflix, if I'm watching a show and I pause it and shut off the TV and then I grab my phone and bring up the same show on Netflix, it remembers exactly where I was and I hit play and it picks up where I left off. It's awesome. So the one advantage that you get from the Switch is that you do this all in one device, but that one device needs that internet connection to come from the phone. And so you have to stop what you're watching, go back to the internet screen, say, all right, connect to my phone. Okay, now I'm on my phone, my phone's internet connection, like a data hotspot or something, and then go back into Hulu and bring up the show again. And it just seems kind of like a rigmarole, and you're just better off just watching it on your phone. Plus, your phone has a higher resolution, whereas the Switch only has 720p docked, not docked, but in handheld mode. I will say that the shows looked great. I mean, it looked very nice at 720p. Are you guys excited for this? That's the question that I want to know. Are you excited for these streaming services to be brought to the Switch? Vaxer in chat says Twitch for the Switch. I don't know that that's going to happen, and the reason why I don't think so is because Amazon, like, I have Twitch installed on my Roku, and Amazon just shut that down. Like, they said, this is no longer going to be supported. I think that Amazon is trying to push their Fire Stick, their Amazon Fire Stick, and so they're trying to cut. Like, we don't have Twitch on the Apple TV. Twitch on Roku doesn't work anymore. So what's going to happen in the future? I think that Amazon is going to say, if you want to watch it, you're going to watch it on your phone, on your tablet, or on your PC, or on this device that we sell. So I don't think that we're going to see Twitch come to the Switch, but I could be wrong. Chai Tea Lady says she wants HBO Go, Netflix, and Twitch for the Switch. Mr. Tomato Head says not really. I'm not interested in handheld videos. Watching on my phone just feels lame. I love the Fire Stick for TV, though. Fair enough. The one thing that I feel is that, you know, when the Switch first came out, one of the people's biggest complaints was battery life. I don't want to drain the battery life of the Switch watching videos, because then it's not going to be there for when I want to play a game. And so that's one of the reasons I'm not going to use these things. I'll install them just so that I can take a look at them and see how they work, so I can talk about them on the show. But it's not something that I'll use. I never used it on I tried using it on the Wii U, but it was a disaster because the Wii U's tablet screen wouldn't shut off while I was trying to watch a show. I never watched it on the 3DS. It was just not great. So I'm not interested in this stuff. But if you are interested, email me and let me know. Thank you so much for listening. And let's talk about some thoughts that I have. Planeswalker, I just wanted to give you a heads up. Concerned Ape tweeted patch coming for Stardew. For the Switch, Planeswalker? I'm bringing up Tweeter right now. You can always follow me on the tweeters. Search Concerned Ape. So their last tweet was a day ago. Testing multiplayer, it's coming along great. So-and-so is doing fantastic work. Really excited. This is already really fun and only going to get better before release. I don't think this is specifically for the Switch, though, because Stardew Valley multiplayer is coming to the PC first. Golf Story update is available. What's the Golf Story update? Why am I typing a question mark? 1.0.1? 7 hours ago? All right, let's go to the source. Oh, it just fixed a bug. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to talk about that on the show, though, just because it's such a small update. Yeah, it just fixed a small bug that was corrupting some people's save files so they can play their old save file again. Oh, okay. Thanks, Mr. Tomato Head. I mean, I'm sure that they're working on a patch. I don't know that it's worth talking about yet because we don't know what's in that patch. So today's the 9th. And then the 10th. There we go. Copy. Sure, I'll permit you, Planeswalker. Not that it'll work. I'm sure it'll tell you that you're going to try and post a link and it'll probably cause a problem. Oh my god, it worked. Stardew Valley Switch Pass has been submitted to Nintendo. Faster saving, crash on sleep fixes, fixed Prairie King controls, fixed static sound from the left speakers, fixed some UI issues, video recording, and some more. Okay. All right, that is worth talking about. Thank you for the link. I'll throw that in the lightning round. You see deleted link. Well, it shows up for me. All right. Back. I haven't. Boop. I can't talk. Let's try that again. Let me get a drink. All right, here we go. So the only game that I've played since last episode is Super Mario Odyssey, and it hasn't been very much because, you know, yesterday was my birthday. My family took me out for dinner, and I had parent-teacher conference for my son yesterday. Then I had to do parent-teacher conferences today. So the only game that I've played since then is Mario, and I don't have much else to say about it yet because I don't want to get into spoilers. I'm going to save that for a spoiler-filled episode later on. But I did have a thought that I wanted to talk about. You know, with Doom coming out, I keep seeing all of these things on like Reddit where this company is showing off, not this company, like this website is showing this is what Doom looks like on the PS4, on the Xbox One, on the PC, and on the Switch. And it's side-by-side comparisons. And like there's probably 4, maybe 5 of those on the various subreddits that I go to for Nintendo, showing all of the different the different places, or I'm sorry, the different looks for the game Doom. And I have to say that I don't understand the fascination with comparing the graphics between the two, because while, yes, the game looks better on the Xbox One and PS4 than it will on the Switch, it looks better on the PC than it will on the Xbox One and PS4 if you've got a powerful PC. That's not really important, because when you're playing the game, you're not playing it with a side-by-side comparison of the exact same scene on your PlayStation. You're just playing the game, and the game looks good enough. And I think that people need to realize that we're at a place where the graphics are good enough. And I keep seeing these threads pop up about the graphics comparisons, and I know some people feel like graphics are the most important thing in a game. But if you just sit down and play Doom, you're going to realize, and I recommend you play it on the PC, personally, because it doesn't have gyro controls, okay? But if you're going to sit down and play Doom, play it because it's fun, not because it looks good. It does both. It looks good and it's fun. But it's a really fun game, and some people are saying, well, I don't want to play it because it doesn't look as good. You're missing out on a really good game. So don't worry so much about the graphics. That's just my piece. Let's hit the lightning round. I feel like, oh my God, Vaxxer, that's brilliant. You know, before I jump into the lightning round, Vaxxer in chat just said something brilliant, which never happens. Just kidding, Vaxxer. Vaxxer said, I feel like it's a kid's play, spot the differences. You know, those like puzzle books or activity books that you used to get when you were a kid. I know that I did. And they would have two pictures side by side. And the two pictures would be very, very similar, almost identical, with very small differences between them, and you would go around and circle each one. And that's exactly what it feels like when you look at these get graphics comparison videos. Oftentimes when I'm looking at them, I'm like, I really don't see much of a difference at all. I mean, I guess this one looks a little bit better, but I'm not sure. Just play the game. Stop worrying about if it looks as good. Just play the game. When you listen to Vaxxer, you chose wisely. I don't remember. What was that? What was I playing with that? Thoughts. And this is Hulu. All right, here we are in the lightning round. Let's start off. We've got 19% of Ubisoft sales came from Mario plus Rabbids. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, look at that. Everybody better start developing for the Switch because it's selling third-party software like crazy. Okay, that's cool. You know, tone it down just a little bit, because what you got to realize, first off, a lot of people have no idea that that's a third-party title. They don't realize that that's a Ubisoft game. It's got Mario on the cover, for crying out loud. Secondly, I'm sure that 19% number is about to change with Assassin's Creed out. I'm sure that number is about to change, and I bet you that number is about to change by a lot. So, you know, walking around saying 19%, everybody, look at how great it is. Just, you know, take it with a grain of salt. It's not the whole picture there. There's an article at Nintendo Everything where President Kimishima talks about the Wii-like momentum, third-party developers, esports, and all kinds of other stuff. I'm not going to steal their content and just read it to you. I'm just going to let you know basically what this is. It's not an interview. It was the Q&A after the financial results. And you can read the comments if you follow the link in the show notes. I recommend that you do. It's a very interesting read. There is a Fire Emblem Warriors update. It's on its way. This is from the official Nintendo website. Gosh, who said this in chat? That would be Wyvern Ripsnarl said this in Discord. Thank you very much for posting that link. So it says Fire Emblem Warriors offers a twist. Oh, no, I'm not going to read all that. It says, after downloading the free software update, this is what I was looking for, the following will be added to the game. A new history map featuring the main characters Rowan and Liana. A new costume for Rowan and Liana. Armor Strike, which is a new weapon attribute associated with destroying armor and causing a broken armor state. New blessings to aid you in battle. And the ability for a player to sell multiple weapons at once. This is a free update. Don't forget that there is a season pass for the game, which also includes 3 DLC packs, which will become available later on for $19.99. But this particular update is free. So Fire Emblem Warriors, I've been listening to people talk about that game, and I really want to check that game out. It's just too bad it came out when it did with Mario right there. It really only got about a week to breathe, and then Mario came slamming down on it. I'm gonna pick up that game next year and play the hell out of it, I'm sure. Lastly, oh no, not lastly, there's two more. It looks like there's a possibility of a port of another Zelda game. The company that made the Zelda remakes for the 3DS is hiring an Unreal Engine 4 programmer for a new Legend. That's their quote. So we don't know what game it's going to be. We don't know what system it's going to be. Although I don't think Unreal 4 is compatible with the 3DS, so probably the Switch. I hope it's not 3DS. And if I were to make a guess, I would say probably Skyward Sword. That game had motion controls, and it would work very, very well on the Switch. The last story for today is that Stardew Valley has had a patch submitted to Nintendo. This is from Planeswalker80, who dropped this in the chat room during the show. And this is a link from the CEO of Chucklefish. He said, the Stardew Valley Switch patch has been submitted to Nintendo. It includes faster saving, crash on sleep fixes, fixed Prairie King controls. I don't know what Prairie King is. Fixed the static sound from the left speaker. Thank God. Fixed some UI issues. Probably the parts where it was like, right click on this. And you were like, what? And then video recording has also been added, and more. You know, you can't post something without saying and more at the end. So as soon as that patch is out, make sure you download it and you can get rid of that crackly sound when you're playing. My wife thought there was something wrong with our TV when I was playing the game. No, I don't think it was Mario Vaxer. Lightning round. All right, I'm going to bring up the coming soon. Today is November 9th. We've got a whole bunch of stuff coming to the Switch today, in addition to Hulu. Rockin' Racing Off-Road DX, Maria the Witch, Octodad, Talomare, Spellspire, Koi DX, Super Putty Squad, and Neo Geo Dunk Team. On November 10th, that would be tomorrow, we've got on the, and I'm going to say this quietly so that my son does not hear me, but Minecraft is coming to the 3DS tomorrow. We've got Snipper Clips Plus, Cut It Out Together coming out. Doom comes out tomorrow. On the Switch eShop only is Cat Quest. And then for Amiibo, we've got the Legend of Zelda series, Daruk, Mifa, Rivali, and Urbosa also coming. Then on the 14th, I don't know if I'll have another episode. Oh, I will have another episode before the 14th, but I'll say it anyway. Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, Rhyme, LA Noire, Ben 10, Batman, the Telltale series, It'll Do 2 Plus, Rocket League, and Pinball FX3, not Pitfall. Oh, that'd be cool if we got a new Pitfall game. Anyway, I'm very excited for Rocket League to come. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. If there's a story that I missed or a topic you would like discussed, please let me know in one of the ways that I mentioned at the beginning of the show. If you're looking for ways to support the show, you can do so simply by sharing the show with a friend. If you're listening on your phone, you can hit the little share button, send it to someone, let them know that it's a podcast that you enjoy, and maybe they will enjoy it too. You can, of course, check out my wife's Etsy shop at etsy.com/shop/runjumpstomp. She makes fantastic fabric nerdy goodness over there. And you can join the Patreon at patreon.com/runjumpstomp. You can find links to all that and more at runjumpstomp.com/support. Special thanks go out to Noteblock for their Balloon Trip remix, as well as Legend of Zelda Gerudo Valley by Tom Winter. Make sure that you check out their YouTube channels and subscribe to them. Thanks for listening, and I will talk to you guys on Saturday. Bye-bye. All right. Let's see how long the show is. I may have to remove an entire track. 33 minutes. That's not bad. When I edit that, that's going to be that'll cut it down quite a bit. All right. I'm happy with 33 minutes. File, save project as desktop SC106. Save. All right, guys and gals. I'm going to edit that later, and I think that's it for today. Thanks for hanging out with me while I was recording the show and playing Mario earlier. I appreciate it. I have had a fun day, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye. Stick around. I'm going to find somebody to host. Oh, hold on. What are you talking about, Planeswalker? Can you explain while I'm looking for somebody to host? I want to know what you mean. Don't go, Planeswalker. I want to know what you meant. He's gone, and now I'll never know. They're adding scaling to the old world. What does that mean? What does that mean? I'm very interested. You've piqued my curiosity. Does that mean the old world scales with me, so that if I'm level 50 and I go to a level 2 zone, I can't, like, walk in and just lay waste to everything around me? All right, while you're typing it, I'm going to host somebody. I'm going to host Jade Silk. She's really nice. She plays some... It's her 1-year streamiversary, so make sure that you give her a high five. And I will see you guys next time, but I'll stick around and read what you're typing, Planeswalker.